Good morning. Today we are going to talk about the causes of variation. So, after this lesson, you have to identify mutation and sexual reproduction as sources of variation. And we are going to connect between the environmental factors and the mutation. Okay. Now, you know that the permanent characteristics that can be inherited may be altered and changed, so that will increase the variation. So this change is a result of a mutation or a result of sexual reproduction. So the characteristics that can be inherited may be changed to increase the variation. Okay. Now the question is, what is the meaning of a mutation? And why do we have a mutation in our body? So let's start with the definition of mutation. Actually, a mutation is a change in a gene or a chromosome. So if we have any change in a gene or chromosome during cell division, so this change is called a mutation. Okay, now why does mutation arise or appear? So actually, this mutation or the change can arise because of three reasons. The first one is the mistakes in the copying of DNA. So during cell division, we say that the DNA should be copied. So during the cell division, sometimes we have mistakes in the copying of DNA. So that will cause mutation. And also, damage the DNA by the environmental factors which change the bases in the DNA. So sometimes the environmental factors change the bases present in the DNA, so that will change or damage the DNA. And sometimes during cell division there will be uneven distribution of chromosomes, and this uneven distribution makes a mutation. So those are the three reasons that can arise the mutation. The mutation can arise because of them. Okay, now you have to know that we have two types of mutation. The first one, chromosome mutations, and the second one, gene mutations. Now let's start with the chromosome mutation. We say that chromosome mutations when cell division fails to work with complete accuracy. So for example, here we have a sperm cell. This sperm cell has 46 chromosomes inside its nucleus. Now, through division, this cell will produce two gametes. The normal gametes should have 23 chromosomes each gamete. Now here, in a chromosome mutation, we have uneven distribution of chromosomes. So the first gamete will have 22 chromosomes, and the second gamete has 24 chromosomes. So here we have uneven distribution of chromosomes, which causes mutation. So the first type of mutation is chromosome mutation, which give two gametes have uneven distribution of chromosomes. Okay, so what about the gene mutation? Actually, gene mutation occurs when a part of the base sequence of the DNA on a single chromosome is changed. So here, focus with the gene mutation. We have a part of the base sequence of the DNA in this chromosome is changed. So here we have normal gene, and here we have one part has changed. So this gene is mutant gene. Why? Because we have a changed part of the base. So this type of a mutation is called gene mutation. And the example of gene mutation actually sickle cell anemia. Now let's understand how sickle cell anemia is an example of gene mutation. Now, you know that anemia affects the blood. So let's see what will happen in normal gene and what will happen in a mutant gene. Normal gene for hemoglobin, we don't have any changed parts. So this normal gene will produce normal mRNA during transcription. After that, normal hemoglobin made by translation. So here we have normal blood. But during or through anemia, we have gene mutation here. So hemoglobin gene has mutated. One base has changed. So because we have one base has changed, now we have faulty mRNA made by transcription. So the mRNA will be false. It's not the normal mRNA. And also during translation, the faulty hemoglobin is made. Okay, so in gene mutation, we have the weakness, aching joints, poor circulation. So here the blood has a problem. Okay, let's repeat the process. We have hemoglobin gene has mutated. So we have one base has changed. So this gene will make faulty mRNA, which made by transcription. After that, this faulty hemoglobin made by translation to form weakness, aching joints, poor circulation. So here the blood will be weak. Okay, so this is the example of gene mutation, which is sickle cell anemia. Okay, now you have to know that we have two types of mutations which are harmful, and some mutation cause harm in one environment but be a benefit in another. So the harmful mutations such as the cystic fibrosis allele, we say that cystic fibrosis is an inherited disease characterized by the buildup of thick, sticky mucus that can damage many of the body's organs. So the cystic fibrosis is harmful. What about the second type of mutation which cause harm in one environment but be a benefit in another? We studied before also heterozygous for sickle cell anemia, not homozygous. Heterozygous for sickle cell anemia. Actually, the people who are heterozygous for sickle cell anemia are resistant to malaria. So if the person has heterozygous for sickle cell anemia, so he is resistant to malaria. Okay, now let's study the factors that can increase the rate of a mutation. Actually, we have a number of factors can increase the rate of mutation, and those factors are called mutagens. So mutagens, what is the meaning of mutagens? Actually, those are the factors that increase the rate of mutation. And here we have two factors, which are radiation and chemicals. Radiation, you know that we have many radiations like gamma, ultraviolet, and X radiation. All of them then can damage DNA, so they will cause mutation. Okay, so radiation damage DNA, and that will change the genes and the chromosomes inside the cells, so that will cause mutation. What about chemicals? Chemicals like tars, which found in tobacco smoke, they damage also or help to damage the DNA, and also high concentration of some preservatives like we found them in food to preserve the food. So those chemicals or substances can damage DNA to cause mutation. Okay, now you have to know that mutations may be linked with cancer. You know that cancer is uncontrolled cell division. So a mutagen that causes uncontrolled cell division actually is called carcinogen. So carcinogen, it's a cancer maker, which is a mutagen that causes uncontrolled cell division. For example, here we have some forms of radiation like UV, ultraviolet radiation, can cause skin cancer. So also those two factors, radiation and chemicals, can cause cancer. So some forms of radiation like UV radiation can cause skin cancer, and also chemicals like tars in tobacco smoke can cause lung cancer. So we have here two types of cancers can caused by the radiation and the chemicals. So what is the cancer? Actually, cancer is uncontrolled cell division, and the mutagen that causes uncontrolled cell division is called carcinogen, which is cancer maker. Okay, now let's start with sexual reproduction variation. As we said at the beginning of this lesson, we said that the change is a result of a mutation or a result of sexual reproduction. Now we are going to see how sexual reproduction make variations. So actually we have three ways. So sexual reproduction mixes up genetic material in three ways, which are crossing over, independent assortment, and also through fertilization. Now to understand each way of variation, let's start with crossing over. So if you focus in this diagram, let's focus with the cross diagram. Actually, during crossing over, a physical exchange between chromosomes. So here we have a physical exchange between chromosome segments of non-sister chromatids occurs, increasing genetic diversity. So here we have two non-sister chromatids, and those non-sister chromatids occurs increasing in genetic diversity when they exchange any segment. So here genetic material is exchanged, okay, between chromatids, and after that the body produces a new combination. Here the body produces new combination of genetic material. So we start with here we have a physical exchange between chromosome segments of non-sister chromatids. Okay, here we have chromatid and another chromatid from different pairs, and this physical change occurs increasing genetic diversity. So here genetic material is exchanged, okay, between chromatids, and after that the body produces a new combination of genetic material. So this is the first way to make variation. Okay, the second way, which is independent assortment, actually here we have homologous pairs. We have 4 homologous pairs, and those pairs may line up in different ways, producing different combinations of genes in the gametes. So here we have different combinations. So there are 4 different gametes from just 2 pairs. Okay, from just 2 pairs of chromosomes. Each human produces many different gametes in this way. So this one will, for example, pair with this one, they will produce the first gamete, this one with this one, the second gamete, and also here we can make different gametes. So here we have also variation. Okay, so homologous pairs may line up in different ways, and that will cause variation. Okay, now what about fertilization? Actually, we have many gametes. When they meet each other, we have fertilization process. You know that when sperm fuse with the nucleus of ovum, that will make the zygote. So here any male gamete can combine with any female gamete, and that will make enormous variation. So because any male gamete with any female gamete, that will make variation. You know that inside the male gamete we have many different gametes, and inside the female also we have many different gametes. and those gametes have different chromosomes and they are arranged in different ways, and sometimes we have a crossing over, so that will make a new combination of genetic material, so that will make a variation. So variation can happen in three ways, which are crossing over, independent assortment, here only assorting the chromosomes or gametes, and here we have a crossing over between two non-sister chromatids. So in fertilization, we have fusing between the male gamete and the female gamete to make an enormous variation to form a new offspring. So these are the causes of variation, which are mutation and sexual reproduction. Thank you for listening and study well. Good luck.